DH69.
Okay. Are you sure?
67, sorry. 67,
Mhm.
68.
Okay. And what is the port number for RDP?
RDP.
Yes, remote desktop protocol that you do to connect to the virtual machine.
Yeah, port number.
Hmm.
443.
Then what is the port number for HTTPS?
HTTP is 443. HTTP 80. RDP is it will be mentioned actually. It is
Uh-huh. 3389.
3389. Yeah.
Okay. What is the port number of SSH? Connect Linux VM. There must be some port number, right?
Hmm.
22.
22. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
For LDAP 389. So these are some port numbers that you need to remember. Okay, for telnet, what is the port number? For SSH, what is the port number? For HTTPS, what is the port number? It's a 443. HTTP, it's a 80. It has to be on your tongue.
Yeah, SSH 22.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm connecting to the virtual machine and okay. So meanwhile, we're gonna talk something about this DNS, some theory about it, and then we're gonna jump onto the practical. Okay. Let me know once you start seeing the screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So DNS, yeah, it's a domain name. The abbreviation of hope, Amrita, you have started the recording, right?
Yes, yes, I started.
Okay. It's a domain naming system. Okay. DNS. Right. So what is the main function of domain naming system is that it resolves IP to host name, right? And host name to IP. Okay. And this is a global service. Okay. It resolves IP to host name and vice versa. Okay. And it's a global service. You cannot have this DNS restricted to a Windows only. It's a global service. Okay. Non-Windows also works on DNS. Okay. Right. See, let's say I have something called, and we have different zones. I'll talk about it. Okay. So let's say we have www dot, okay, facebook.com. Okay. So it will be divided into three parts. Okay. So this this dot com. Okay. It is nothing but it's the root. Okay. And this Facebook, this is nothing but top level domain. Okay.
Okay.
Top level domain. And no, just a moment. Sorry, there is a small confusion here. Okay. .com that we are putting, it's a root one. Okay. And there is a dot post this Facebook, right? This is
Hmm.
nothing but your TLD. And this Facebook is nothing but your SLD, second level domain. Second level domain. Please make a note of it. If this is this namespace, so this is how it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Gopal, that's those slashes are TLD.
No, no, not slashes. This is dot. After www.facebook.com, the moment when we put the
Okay.
dot and all, right?
Okay.
Right. Now, you need to understand one thing here, that this 13 root servers that we have in TLD, okay, it's a worldwide. Okay, the 13 roots that we have, it's a worldwide. Okay, and one root server is having approximately 1000 DNS. Okay, one root server can resolve up to 1000 DNS.
Mhm.
Okay, now there are different zones we have. Okay, and that zones is we're gonna discuss now. Okay, these are very important questions. DNS is very important topic, very important. One is forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone. Okay, then we have something called primary zone. Then we have something called secondary zone. Then we have something called stub zone. Okay, then we have something called AD, AD integrated zone. Okay, and we have something called forwarders. Also, we have, this is not zone. So conditional forward and DNS forwarder, I'll talk later. But these are some zones. Okay, which we have. Okay, reverse forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone. In this forward lookup zone also, again, it is categorized into two parts. Okay, one is primary, one is secondary zone. Okay, so just a moment. Okay, in forward, okay, so we're gonna talk about these topics: forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone, primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone, and AT integrated zone. But in primary zone is again divided into two types. Okay, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna remove these things to avoid confusion. Let me do one thing. Let me just put in a simple. Okay. DNS zone, right? So let me just make it easy for you. Okay. First is forward lookup zone. Okay. So in this forward lookup zone only, we have something called different zones. Okay. One is primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone, and array integrated zone. Just a moment. Okay, so it integrated zone, stub zone, right? And again, in this primary zone, again we have some records. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, we have start of authority record, SOA. Okay, start of authority. Okay, second is naming server, name server record, name server. Okay, or naming server record. Okay, third one is host record. This is very important. Okay, these are records, host record. This is very important. Okay, then we have something called alias record. Alias record. Okay, and we have something called pointing record, PTR. PTR record, and then we have something called mail exchange record. And these will be potential, these records are potentially used by the exchange user, exchange admins. When they request us, that's when we're gonna create it. Okay, and also we have something called SRV record, which we don't use much. Okay, so let's just complete this forward lookup zone today. Okay, and I'm gonna immediately show you the what do you call, the lab of this. Okay, any doubts so far? Okay, right, so start of authority. Okay, so I'm just taking you to my server right now. Start of authority is nothing but the number of times that we make the changes on the DNS, it will get updated, the record. Okay, so let's say this is my DNS. I'm into DNS right now. Okay, in my DNS, if I'm just going to this forward lookup zone, okay, this is my domain, right? And if you see that SOA, start of authority record, okay, this is one of the record. So it means the number of times I create and delete. So right now it's 91. Okay, let me create something. Let me create a host record. I've created. So right now it's 91, right? 92. Earlier it was 91. Now it's 92. Do you see that? Okay. So number of times we make the changes. Number of times we make the changes. Let's it's 92. Okay. I'm deleting this record. Now it will be 93 SOA number. It's 92 now. Now it's 93. The number of times we make the changes in the DNS, so it gets updated, and this will be taken care by this start of authority record. Okay, and I spoke something about naming server or name server. Okay, so the name server, like this is a server. How many servers we have? So all the server names will be registered here. So this will be taken care by the naming server record. Okay, The complete fully qualified domain name of the server will be recorded here. This will be taken care by the naming server or name server record. Okay. Okay. Let's say I have another ADC, right, or other another PDC of different forests, or sorry, other PDC, sorry, not other ADC. Okay, then it will be recorded here with the fully qualified domain name adc01.techieheads.com. This is my complete domain, complete fully qualified domain name. Okay, getting me? Okay, then we talk something about the host record. So these are nothing but a host record. Okay, what if it is not created? Host record is nothing but we are mapping the IP address with the server name or the client machine name. Okay, so here when I'm creating the host record, okay, so it is asking me the name of the server, right, and the IP address which has to be associated, right. So this is nothing but mapping the IP address with the host name. Okay, by creating the host record, let's say if I'm deleting this record from here, so what happens when I do the ns lookup? Ns lookup is a command to check. Okay, so we have something called ns lookup. Okay, ns lookup, this is a command which we use in order to check whether DNS is working or not. Okay, there are scenarios where we are able, let's say if I need to take RDP to a machine. Okay, and here what is happening is like when I'm using the IP address, then I'm able to access, I'm able to RDP. But when I'm using the host name, then I'm not able to. What could be the potential reasons? Okay, when I'm using the IP address, then I'm able to RDP to the machine. But when I'm not when I'm using the host name, then it's not working. Then what could be potential reasons? The potential reasons would be we need to check whether NS lookup is working or not, whether there is a host record created or not. If it is not created, we need to create it by navigating the DNS, and that's when it starts working. Okay. Any doubt? Confused?
This
Hmm.
lookup, can you once again please tell me?
NS lookup, yeah, this is a command that I need to see. NS lookup is a command. Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay. Mm.
This is a command that I need to check whether DNS is working or not, and what is the IP address which is mapped. Okay, this is basically to check whether DNS is working or not. Okay, whether the host name is created or not against the particular IP address, whether proper record host record is created against uh, for a particular server or the host. Okay, so I ran the NS lookup. Okay, it gives me the IP address of the DC one. Okay, so for which IP address I need to find? I need to find, let's say for this Windows 10 machine. Okay, then I'm giving the IP address of 0.0.1.6. Okay, it is not finding right now. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, okay, see here, if you see that there is one thing, when I'm giving the IP address it's not working, but when I'm giving the server name it is giving the IP address of that particular server name. Do you see that?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, server names. Yeah.
Okay, okay, so ideally it should work vice versa also. We'll check that further, but ideally the NS lookup, how would you check? You need to type the NS lookup command and then it will give you the by default server, then it will give you some arrow key. Okay, now when you give 168.0.4, let's see if it is working. It's not working. Okay, means the reverse lookup zone is not created or the pointer record is not created for that. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create it later. Okay, but I'm typing ADC 01. Now it will give C. It is giving the complete ADC, and this is the IP number which is associated with this. Okay. Now it is not working with the IP address, right? So what I need to do is that I need to go to this ADC. I need to check for the properties. Okay. So here the pointer record, I need to check whether the pointer record is updated or not. Let me just or else I can check in the reverse lookup zone. Because the reverse lookup zone is not created, so that is the reason it is not working with the IP addresses. Okay.
Okay.
The name itself say that it's a reverse lookup zone, right? So we have entered the IP address like 10.0.1.1. It is taking 1.0. Okay. So it is taking in reverse. Okay. Okay, I'll fix this. But for now, so this is how your primary zone looks like. Okay. So this is the host record. Okay. And then we have something called the alias record. So far you have any doubt with terms of host record, naming server record, or SOA record?
No.
Okay, Harish, are you clear?
Yeah. Just
NS lookup, I'll talk
yeah.
about it. NS lookup, the reason being that reverse lookup zone is not created properly, so that is
Okay.
the reason it's not working. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
but NS lookup is basically used to check whether your it is resolving the host name to IP and IP to host name or not. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
now we have something called alias record. Okay, this is also done,
Okay.
right? We have now something called alias record. Alias record is nothing but the name is itself says alias record or CNAME record. Okay, see, alias name is that, let's say I have a server, okay, and I need to publish that server name to outside the world. Okay, so what I will give, I'll give some alias name, right? Some like Netflix something. I'll give this one. But in the backend, my target host name would be different, which I really don't want to expose this to the internet. Okay, if someone wants to connect to the server, he will use this alias name, Netflix domain name, Netflix server name. But at the backend, the fully qualified domain name would be different. Okay, getting me?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we need to create from here. So usually we get very rare scenarios to create this one. Okay, and we have next we have something called ls record is done. Then we have something called pointer record. So what it will do is that when we are creating a record, it was asking me to associate it with the pointer or not. So what we can do is that when we are having this ADC, see, while creating the host name, it is asking whether we need to want to have a pointer record or not. What will do? It will also what it's gonna do that it's gonna record from with IP to host name. Just a moment. So this is we need to update here this one. Okay, so uh, wins we need to use. Okay, which I forgot to configure it. So that is the reason it is taking. It is not resolving from hostname to IP. Sorry, IP with IP name to hostname. Okay. Uh, okay. So that's nothing but the pointer record. I'll come to that pointer record. Okay. So when we are creating a host name, it is asking to whether we need to create a pointer record along with that, so that IP address will be matched with the host name. Okay, with the host name. I'll configure it and I'll just show it to you. Okay, let's just complete this theory part first. Then we have something called the mail exchange record. So generally it is used, mail exchange record is generally used to forward the emails, okay, or to map the IP address with the mail server. This is where we do. Okay, here we need to give the complete FQDN of the mail server. Okay, and very rare we get a request to create the host record. Usually we get a request to create, this is the host record is what we get usually to create on regular basis if any new server is joined to the domain. So by default this host record gets created. If it is not created, we need to come here and give a right click and you need to create it. Okay, okay. So and last option is a survey record. This is not mainly used in anywhere, so I am leaving this one. Okay, it's not even a interview question. People don't ask. People ask with pointer record, ls record, host record, naming server, SOA. These records are mainly used. Even if out of these, if you even if you tell 4, interviewer will be impressed. Okay,
Yeah.
now what you need to do is that you need to, your lab would be to create a DNS. Okay, and you need to create a DNS zones, primary zone. Okay, and also you need to create a reverse lookup zone. I'll tell you how would you create. Okay, now right now we have completed this primary zone. Okay, and we have something called the secondary zone. Okay, so why do we need to have a secondary zone? Secondary zone is having a data of the, it's nothing but it's a backup of the primary zone. Okay, if primary zone gets down, so we have secondary zone to work upon, which continuously provides the services. Okay, so that's the only job of this secondary zone. Okay, so stub zone. So why do we need to have a stub zone? Stub zone is basically to provide fastest service from one domain to other domain. So let's suppose we have two domain under the same forest, or if we are accessing something on web based, right? So we need to have the stub zone created for the same. Okay, and how we are creating, like so this is where we'll be having. Okay, so when we talk something about the stub zone. Okay, so when we need to have the web based access, so I was talking about uh, creating a trust, right, between different domains, right? Like I have a two different domains users, one is Facebook, one is Wipro, right? Right. So okay, let's say it's a wipro.com, or if it is a it's a Wipro, let's say it's a facebook.com. Okay, and in order to provide web-based access server, if they are accessing any website, Wipro employees are or Wipro users are accessing some Facebook website kind of thing, right? So we need to create three records. Okay, name server record, start of authority record, right? So these will be used, there would be zone created for this approach. Okay, and that zone will be nothing but the stub zone. Okay, so means when you're pinging, okay, let's say the Wipro employees are pinging the Facebook website, right? Then they will be able to do that because there is a stub zone created, because Wipro itself has its own domain, right? Facebook has its own domain. Both are different domains, right? Wipro.com, facebook.com, different domains. In order to communicate, in order to establish a communication, what we have done, we have created a trust. They're able to log in, but what they will be able to access web server or anything, again for the same we need to have the zone created. Okay, and that is nothing but the stub zone. What
Mm.
happened?
Yeah.
Confused, fused?
Mm.
To be honest, stub zone was not mainly asked in this. Okay, and also we don't even create this a normal zone. We usually create the AD integrated zone.
Okay.
This is nothing but the AD integrated zone. Okay, that's how it would be. So like I said, we have AD integrated zone, right? So AD integrated will be created in the primary zone. Okay, even if we have not joined the server to the domain and have the DNS installed, so we can create it from here. Okay, uh that is, yeah, that is something about these records and all. The reverse lookup zone is having the data. Okay, copy of this in secondary we have secondary zone is having a copy of the primary zone data. Okay, and reverse lookup zone is that in forward lookup zone we are mapping hostname with IP address, but here in reverse lookup zone we are mapping IP address to hostname. Okay,
Yeah.
let's say I'm trying to create something. This ABC is created, and let me check if something is created here or not. If it is not created, then see, when I'm creating a pointer record, so it will be creating C. In forward lookup zone, I have created with hostname to IP address, but in reverse lookup zone, it is mapped with IP address to host name. Okay, that's a pointer record. Okay, so when creating another zone, whether I need to create a backup zone, primary zone, or stub zone. Okay, so here I can create a another like backup zone kind of thing. Okay, so here I need to give the IP and everything, and accordingly I need to create. Okay, any doubts?
No.
Okay, so that's how the things are. And now we have something called forwarders. Okay, so we need to create some uh, we have different forwarders, conditional access forwarders, right? So these forwarders currently we have not configured anything. Okay, conditional forwarder is something like uh, forwarder is nothing but it's a kind of the DNS server. Okay, so what it contains in forwarders, we have the IP address of other domain, not of the same domain. Okay, of the other domain IP address, it will be there. Okay, it will be there in the forwarders, but in conditional forwarders, right, we have something called like uh, only we can restrict the access of some websites in conditional forwarders. The name itself states that it's a conditional, right? So if we want to access of YouTube, okay, we can get the IP address and we can configure a conditional forwarder here, and it will restrict the communication. It won't it won't once it is configured, users won't be able to access the YouTube, for example. This is one of the typical examples. Okay, this you're gonna create it from here, name, and you can give the IP of that. Okay,
Okay.
IP address of, let's say, for google.com, let's say. Solution number, can you see me? Sorry, can you listen
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just a moment. I lost the connectivity to this also. Have you guys done sites replication and all?
No, Gopal. Today I will
Okay.
first I will
Okay.
create subscription and then I will try it today.
Okay. Once the subscription gets created, let me know so that I'll help you with this virtual network gateway connection. Okay,
Yes.
deployment. Once
Yes.
that's done, so that's when we're gonna proceed further. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I have mentioned something called DNS Google, right? Okay, so now I'm clicking on OK.
Gopal, it is showing only this Skype window. It is showing.
Is it so?
Yeah.
Strange. You must have done something, Amrita. That's the reason.
Sorry.
You must have done something wrong with my computer, so that's the reason.
No.
Where it is. Acha.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yes.
You are able to see now, right?
Yes, that is DNS manager. Yeah.
Okay. So here I have created the DNS record. Okay, now I'm navigating to something. This is the worst. That's the reason I hate IE. See, now I'm able to access. Okay. In real time scenarios, you won't be exposed to the internet. So you need to create this kind of conditional forwarders in order to access the specific website. Okay. So that is nothing but your conditional forwarder. Okay.
Okay.
And due to some reason, if you want to check some okay. What you're seeing this Skype one, right?
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah. DNS. Yes.
Okay, let's say I need to run something here. There's some issue. I'll share only this one screen.
In conditional forward, we can also set email address also, or only the website we can restrict.
Anything. If you
Anything.
have the IP name and if fully qualified in, you can restrict anything.
So we can set a forwarder on our email address also. Means if
Yes,
someone's
yes, yes.
send. Yeah. Okay.
Sends a message. Okay. Okay. Now, are you seeing this command prompt?
No. Yes. No.
Yes, right.
Yes.
In order to check the what is the IP config, what is the cache in the DNS? Okay.
Mm.
This is the command. Okay, it is giving the complete this one cache. Bing. Do
Yes.
you see? Bing
Yes.
and everything. This see IP config space forward slash then display DNS. This is the command.
Mm.
Okay. Then we have something called if you want to flush the DNS. Okay. Okay. So generally we have something called like any record that we create. Okay. If any record is not using more than 7 days. Okay. So any DNS record, it can be host record or it can be pointer record or any record. Okay. If it is not being used, so we need to delete it. So usually the time would be 14 days. 14 days is the time period. Okay. I'm sharing my notes one note screen. Okay. So any DNS record. Let's say this is the DNS record which I created, and due to some reason it is not getting registered. So what I need to do is that I need to flush the DNS. Okay, the command which I run, flush the DNS and then re-register the DNS. Okay, this is one thing. Other thing, like we have something called records, DNS records. Okay, so usually for DNS record we have something called 14 days of time. Okay, 14 days. It's gonna check 14 days. 7 days it will wait whether it is used or not. If it is not used, it will wait for another 7 days, and then it will delete the DNS record. Okay, that is nothing but DNS scavenging. This is a very important question. DNS scavenging. Okay, it will wait for first 7 days. It will check whether any activity is happening or not, or whether system is using the DNS record or not. If it is not using, then again it will wait for more 7 days, and then it will delete. Okay, what is the process? The process of deleting the unused records. Okay, that is DNS scavenging. Okay,
Yes.
Harish, what's happened? Are you with us?
Yes, yes. Noting down actually.
Okay. Mm,
Which command for that cache means how many how
IP config
uh,
space
yes,
forward slash
yeah,
display DNS with no space.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So most of the things we have covered in this. Okay. So DNS is also covered. DHCP is also covered. Okay. AD is also covered. So majority of the things are done. Okay. So there is something called RDS that I just wanted to cover here. Okay. What do you mean by RDS and all? Remember, RDS itself is a vast topic. Okay, it's itself is a different vast topic, and people also get job as an RDS engineer.
Okay.
I handled Microsoft big project at L3 level on RDS. Okay, so it uses the port 3389.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Understood.
why this is one of the Windows service which we have. Okay, and what is the use of this in order to connect the server at the same time? Okay, connect the server remotely. Okay, when we install the service, so usually what happens when you take the RDP normal? Okay, if I'm doing here, so this is the RDP which I'm taking. Okay, so by default two concurrent sessions, concurrent RDP sessions, the sessions will be allowed. Getting me? And if you need to have concurrent sessions means there is one server. Okay, this is a server I have. Okay, so already a user is connected via RDP. Okay, and I do have two second user B who's connected to this server at the same time. This is a server. Okay, if I need to have third person to log into this server remotely via RDP, then let's say I have a third user called C and he wants to access this server via RDP. But in this server already two users have been logged in, right? These people are logged in. So if this person has to log in, if he needs to log in, then any one of the previously logged in users should log off. Okay, it will give you a prompt whether you want to log off this user or this user. Okay, let's say you have selected user A, then user A will get a notification on his remote desktop stating that C user wants to connect to this machine. Getting me?
Hmm.
Whether you want to allow or not. If you will allow, then you will lose a connection. C will connect to the server.
And if
Oh,
in case
if
that
you don't, if you
A
don't allow, if you don't allow, if
huh,
A doesn't allow, then he won't get the connection. He needs
oh,
to wait. Okay.
okay.
So again, this is a challenge, right?
Oh, yes.
So I have a project requirement where I need to have multiple users to log into the same server at the same time,
Hmm.
right? How would I do that? Then this remote desktop service will come into picture. Okay, the two sessions which by default any server gives, those are nothing but admin sessions. Okay, those
Hmm.
are administrative sessions, the users who logs in by default. And if you want to check whether you are taking a normal session or admin session, usually you are taking a admin session only until RDS role is installed on the server. Okay,
Okay.
when RDS role is installed and you are trying to take normal session and you are not able to, then you can use admin session by running the command mstsc slash forward space admin. This will take you this administrative session. Okay. Okay, that's how it would be, right?
Yeah.
So when I install a role called rdsh, okay, remote desktop session host role, then I can have a number of you concurrent sessions for number of users. Okay, means n users can able to access the server at the same time, right? So by default, when I install the role, so 120 days of grace period will be provided. Okay, post 120 days or in between 120 days, admin has to purchase license. Grace period, it means you have a grace period to purchase license, but in this 120 days, multiple users can access the server. But once the grace period is over, only 2 users can log into the same server. But if you want to have more than 2 users to log into the same server post 120 days, but then admin has to purchase a license. Okay, rdsh license, and these are nothing but will be per user cals and per device cals. Those are licensing part. Okay, so there are two types of licenses that we have, whether it's a per user cal or per user cals or per device cals. Okay, so usually in real time scenarios, people use per user cals for domain joins. Okay, this is for domain. For work group model, this is the priority. Okay, so that is a bit about rdsh. Okay, that configuration itself is, it's a very vast topic, but these are the primary things that you need to remember. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So most probably we have done with the rds as well. What is happening? Some drilling is happening or what?
Yeah, actually, some work is going. I'll just keep note.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. Mm, so most of the Windows part is done, which is required for the Azure training. Okay. So I would want you guys to just go through this, all the sessions and all. Okay. And let me know in case if you have any difficulty or anything. Okay. So your job today's lab. Okay. So what would be your today's lab would be like? Few. Okay, so your lab would be like, you need to go to the system one. Okay, forward, and you need to create a forward lookup zone, right? And need to create some alias, and then you need to ping using the alias name and check if it is working or not. That's the one thing. Okay, and also you need to create a pointer record and try to do ns lookup. Okay, any doubts? So
So
these are the
the
this
forward lookup zone and what the
reverse.
alias we need to create. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, in lookup zone you need to create something called alias name,
Yeah.
and you need to ping using the alias name. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So once it is done, I think we are good to go ahead. And let me know. I'll give you tomorrow one day for this Windows, and then post which I'll start Azure. Okay. So Harish, for you, from day after tomorrow, Azure session will start,
Okay.
and Amruta, for you, anyways, the Azure session is going on.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll continue that one. We'll resume that from tomorrow, day after. Okay,
Oh,
but tomorrow you just gather all the doubts that you have pertaining to this Windows on the topics which we discussed, and let me know.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything else, guys, girls?
No.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, tomorrow I'll ask questions, so don't worry. Okay,
Yes.
then only we'll come to know whether
Yeah.
we are good or we are not good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so okay, so Amrita, once you're done with this subscription, let me know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow day after we can connect. Okay,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
and
So
we'll
our
resume
Azure will start day after.
day after. Okay,
Okay.
but in these 2 days, today and tomorrow, gather all the doubts and all which you have. Try to deploy the resources, try to create something, DHCP, DNS and all.
Mm-hmm.
There is something called trust which is pending. I'll cover tomorrow, trust part. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
trust lab, trust lab.
Mm.
Okay, so I'll cover tomorrow, so trust lab won't take more than 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right then. Anything else, sir? Harish sir?
No, tomorrow only I will have some doubts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Today I will
Okay.
just once again follow up this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So once it is done,